What year were you born in?
The 4th of February 1932.
What area in the parish did you grow up in?
In Hoare Abbey, out the Golden Road.
Can you describe the area?
Yeah, it was a quiet area. A lot of children at that time out there. There was lots of us going to school together when we all started school.
Tell me about your family.
I have no brothers and sisters, an only child.
What did your parents do?
My father was in the army, and my mother worked as a housewife.
Okay.
Which Arisons?
What kind of house did you live in?
In a cottage.
Can you describe it?
Well, when I was young anyway, there was only 2 bedrooms downstairs and a kitchen. And then we had stairs going up to a loft, up to a room upstairs. So later years then, they built a new room upstairs and got the stairs up to it.
Was your house similar or different to the other homes?
No, they were all the same that time.
Okay. Is your family home still there?
It is still there now, yeah. It's more modern now, though. A new family have taken over.
What are your earliest childhood memories?
I suppose going down to the river and stealing apples out of the orchards, and we used to collect mushrooms and sell them, and all them kind of gooseberries and blackcurrants out by the fields and sell them.
Who did you sell the mushrooms and the gooseberries and blackberries?
There was a Dixon Connors down in Portlock Street, and we used to collect the mushrooms and we used to bring them in there when we come from school. We'd go off and pick them, and the blackberries, and bring them in. We used to sell them there to him, and we used to snare rabbits and bring in the rabbits, and he'd buy the rabbits off us.
Did you do that work? Did you do that on your own, or did you?
Oh no, there was a group of us there, a group of boys and girls, yeah.
Would you get much for a bucket of black?
Well, we'd only get maybe 2 shillings at the time, but to us it was great money, like.
Okay. A lot of hard work in it though,
A lot of hard work, yeah. Picking was be needed, our fingers would be all pricked and thorns and that.
Could you describe to us how you snared the rabbits?
We put down a snare down in a burrow to see where the rabbit would come out. We put down the snare there, and the rabbit would come out and be caught in the snare. And we used to put it down at night. An uncle of mine used to come with us, and we used to put down the snare at night and go back in the morning, and the rabbit would be in the snare.
And fishing, you fished as well, did you, or just went down to the river?
We were to go to the river, yeah. No, I didn't fish, no.
Okay.
What games did you play?
Well, we used to play cobbies and play scotch out in the road, and the spinning top. And we used to have bicycle wheels and a stick, and we belted around the road.
Did you amuse yourself in a special way at certain times of the year?
Yeah, we used to go to the river all during the summer. We'd walk down at the river, and there was a castle down there near the river, down near where John D. Maud is living now. And we used to climb that castle. I know it was dangerous at the time, but we used to do it.
And did you do anything, did it snow much when you were younger? Did it snow more then than it does now?
Oh yeah, we used to have a great time out the country, down the fields and down to the river, as I say. We used to all gather across the Castle Lake, we used to call it. We used to all have good fun. We'd be hurling on the roads then because there was no cars or anything.
What games or things did you don't see children doing nowadays?
Well, we used to spin the wheel anyway. Nobody does that anymore. Nobody plays the cobbies anymore. And we used to have the top on the road, which is, the spinning tops, we'd say. We'd have them. They don't be there anymore.
Did you go to primary school?
No. Oh, I did. I went to the convent, yeah.
Where was the convent?
Down where the nursing home was now, next to the church.
Can you remember the names of your teachers and principal?
Yeah, there was Sister Oliver, there was Sister Nunciata, there was Sister Rosary, there was Sister Clare, who else was there? Sister Maculata, there was Sister Paul. There was a lot of nuns there.
Was it all nuns?
All nuns, yeah.
All nuns.
All nuns at that time.
No
yeah.
lay teachers?
No.
What were they like?
They were nice. Some of them were cross enough, of course, but you get that everywhere. But I found them all right anyway. Then there was industrial school there too. You see, they used to have orphans in there too that were staying there.
What, in the
In
convent?
the convent, yeah.
Where would these orphans have come from? The Cashel area, or did they come?
But they'd be from everywhere, yeah. Like with the mothers, you know, would have babies out of marriage and they'd be put in there, like, and be reared there.
Would they mix in with yours?
Oh yes, to be going to school there, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Just have boarders there too at times, yeah.
Do you remember your best friends in primary school as you were growing up?
Oh yeah, there was Breeda Ryan and Mary Ryan, and there was Josie Peters, and there was a lot of them coming in our road at that time, like they were all good friends.
And you had a good bit to come in?
We had a mile and a half to walk every morning, and a mile and a half to walk home in the evening.
What was school like?
It was very good, it was a happy time.
Was it very different to how schools are today?
I'd say it is, yeah.
How?
Well, I suppose it was harder then, I suppose, because, you know, people weren't as well off as they are now, like, you hadn't as much then. We'd go to school, we'd only have to bring a lunch, like, we couldn't go home for lunch, we're too far away. And we'd be there, you could go in, you could be drowned in wet going in the morning, you'd have to stay all day in your wet clothes and come home in the evening anyway.
Did you have textbooks? Did you have a school bag that you'd bring in?
Oh yes, yes.
Yeah.
We'd bring home our books at night, yeah.
And was it cold? Was the building cold, or was it heated? Or
No, it was cold, yeah, it was a big building, like, it was cold.
Yeah. And you didn't have to bring in money or firewood? To
No.
Okay.
When did you leave school?
Oh God, what year? I'd be about 16, I suppose, when I left.
Could you have went further with your studies?
I could have done, yeah. But that time people were leaving young to get jobs, like, you know, everybody went working straight away there.
So you went to primary and then you went on to secondary school, did
Yeah.
you? Where was the secondary school?
It was down there in the convent also.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. So you didn't have to leave that building?
No.
Okay.
What things did you do to amuse yourself when you became a teenager?
We used to go to dances, of course, pictures. You get to dances cheap that time. I often went to a dance for two shillings at that time. You go to cinema for 4 pence, in the old money.
Where was there a dance hall in Cashel?
Down in the old, down in Main Street now, where the town hall is now. We first started dancing there. Do you know where the town hall is?
Yes, yeah.
We first started dancing down there, and then years after they built hall in the field above, the new ballroom.
We were interested. What was dancing like? Nowadays, the boys would be going to discos and loud music.
There was no discos then.
Yeah. What would describe to us a night at the dancing?
What you old time waltzing and Cayley and foxtrots and all that kind of thing.
Would there'd be a live band there?
Oh yes.
Yeah. We interviewed a man there last week who used to play at the dancing, Gus.
MacDonald.
Gus MacDonald.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember Gus?
I remember Gus. Yeah, I remember Gus well.
He played at some of the dances you were at?
He did indeed, yeah.
Okay.
And Christy Price now was in the band. Remember Christy died there last year?
Yes.
Lived down the green. He used to play in the band, and Mick Fogarty that lived here at the back, he used to play in the band too. They're all dead now.
And did you dance with boys or did you dance separately? Or?
Oh no, boys, yeah.
Boys, okay.
Yeah.
And often I'd be watching movies from the past and the boys would be at one side and the girls
That's
would
right,
be at the other side.
Yeah.
Was that the case?
Yes, the boys would be on one side and the girls would be at the other side. Then the boys would come over and ask you to dance.
Okay.
What did you do after you left school?
I went straight into a job. I worked below where, down in Port Clock now, it was a shop there, David's at the time. I worked in the kitchen there. And then later years I left that and I worked at Murphy's of Ballinamone. You ever hear of Murphy's of Ballinamone?
No.
Browns have it now out to Golden Road there. I worked there then for years until I got married out of there.
Was it well paid?
It wasn't well paid then. I had £1 a month. That was a lot of money then, of course.
What could you have got for £1 a month?
You get a lot of things then. When I first got married, my husband was earning 4 shillings something a week. But then you get a pound of butter that time for half a crown, we'd say, 2 and 6. I know what that'd be in money now. And then you get sugar and tea and all that cheap. But then there was a lot of rationing things too, you see. You'd only get them by a voucher. You know, the tea was rationed, sugar was rationed, and butter was rationed. And
That happened during the war years.
Yeah.
Do you remember anything about the war years?
yeah, I remember all them things being rationed, like.
Yeah.
We had the brown, the bread used to be white. It used to be like then the bread we get the white though, because the bread used to be kind of coloured, it was rationed.
Okay.
And we'd have to have vouchers for tea and vouchers for sugar and vouchers for everything. And we used to get milk from the farmers down near us, like. And we used to grow our own potatoes and vegetables and all that kind of thing in the back.
And did you cycle to work or did you walk everywhere?
Well, when I was working in I cycled everywhere, but when I was working in Balnamona, I used to live in there.
Oh, a big gentry house?
Gentry house, yeah.
Okay.
There's still a big gentry house now. Browns have it now, Clifton Brown.
Were they nice to work for?
Lovely, they were lovely people. They're dead now. It was a Colonel Murphy and the daughter and the son, and he died then, so the daughter and the son were there. They were lovely people to work for. They were really nice now.
Going back to your childhood, what kind of food did you eat?
Potatoes and vegetables and cabbage and bacon and stew and all that kind of thing.
Was the food always fresh?
It was always fresh, yeah, we get it straight from the garden.
You didn't have a refrigerator?
No fridges, no.
So how did you keep meat fresh?
Well, when I worked in Balnamone now, they had a kind of a little a square thing outside the door with muslin in it, kind of. You just put it in there to be out in there, but to be covered from anything like. But there was no, and summertime we used to put the butter into a thing of water to keep it hot, to keep it fresh, like, because the summers that time was very, very warm. We used to have to put into a basin of water because to be gone melted, to be gone soft.
And did you ever salt meat then to keep it fresh?
Salt meat?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Put lots of salt in it.
Oh yeah.
And where would you hang the meat then?
Out of the ceiling.
Okay.
We used to kill our own pigs at home one time, and you'd salt the meat and hang it out the ceiling and to be smoked with the fire, like smoked, you buy now smoked meat, like.
What firewood did you use?
Turf and mostly timber.
Was it an open fire?
A big open fire, yeah. And we used to have a big crane, we'd say, there'd be a thing down in the ground, down in the fireplace, and there'd be a crane right across, an iron coming across from it, and we'd hang the pot on that. And you'd put the food into this pot, and you'd have the big fire under the pot, and if you're baking bread then, you'd have an oven pot, we'd say, a big round oven pot, and you'd have a lid for that, and you put the bread into the oven pot, and you put the lid on it, and then you get the sprees from the fire, like bits of sticks and all that, and put up in the oven pot to bake the bread.
Your mother was a housewife?
She was, yeah.
Yeah. Was she very good with her hands?
She was, yeah. She was good to bake and cook and sew and all that kind of thing, yeah.
And did she show you all those skills?
Oh, she did, yeah.
Nowadays people don't seem to be as...
No, I was baking when I was very young. When I was 9 or 10 years of age, I was able to bake bread and make tarts and all that kind of thing.
Okay.
Did you eat certain foods on special occasions? Fridays, Sundays, birthdays, weddings, Christmas and Easter?
Yeah, Sundays now, we'd have a treat for Sunday. You wouldn't have a dessert every day, but you'd have jelly and custard on a Sunday. Christmas, of course, then you'd have the usual things.
Easter time?
Easter time, no, we wouldn't. We used to have to fast heavily coming on to Easter. Then we'd get a treat for Easter. We might have an Easter egg or something like that, but we wouldn't have an awful lot because money was very scarce at that time.
A lot of people around your age spoke about the Easter eggs,
Yeah.
and we never asked them. What's the one question you might ask about Easter eggs back in the 30s and 40s?
How did they look like?
They're much smaller than they are now, and much cheaper, of course, then. But the townspeople now, anybody living in town, they used to come out the country with a basket and collect the ordinary eggs from the people out the country. So we used to be giving them eggs. If we had hens at home, we'd be giving them eggs when they come out. They go to all the houses with a basket, and we give them eggs for Easter for the townspeople that they wouldn't have found in their town, like.
Oh yes, but did you have chocolate eggs as well?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, and Would some people not be able to afford maybe the chocolate egg?
A lot of them wouldn't be able to afford it, no.
So they just have an ordinary
Egg,
egg.
yeah.
Okay.
In general, what did people like to drink? Alcohol and non-alcohol drinks?
Well, most of them used to drink. I never drank anyway. But my father now, he used to have a Guinness, but wouldn't be very often, like me, only maybe once a week. And there was two old men down, well they weren't old then, they used to go to town every Sunday. They'd go to last mass, they'd have a couple of pints, and you wouldn't see them until the following Sunday again. Because people weren't drinking that time, like. Because when men come home from work that time in the evening, they'd be out digging in the garden or cutting hedges or doing something, you know. They weren't like young men now, like, don't do much in the evening, like, but they used to be always working.
Was there any public houses or pubs out your road?
No.
So you'd have to come into the town?
Either Cashel or Golden, and Cashel was nearer than Golden. You'd have to come into the town.
And do you remember a time when you didn't have running water in the house?
Yeah, we'd no running water. We used to have to go to the well down across the fields. We'd have to go nearly half a mile down the field to a well to bring up the water. We'd have to bring up 2 buckets of water. We might be only just up near home, we'd spill it, we'd have to go back down again.
And can you remember when you first got running water in your house?
Oh, it was years, I don't know what age I was now. I suppose I was 10 or 12 maybe or more when we got the running water. We got a tap at the gate first to start off with.
And most people can't remember a time when they had no electricity. But maybe when you were a child,
we had no electricity.
No electricity.
No, we had a lamp, an oil lamp, and there was a globe on the lamp, round lamp, and there was a globe on it, let's call it, and we'd have to clean that. I remember cleaning it with paper, and we'd have that lighting between the two. There was one bedroom in there and one bedroom in there, and we'd have it between them up on the wall. We had on the oil, we'd have to have oil for the lamp. But we had no electricity for years.
But the people in the town did?
They had it before us, yeah.
Some of them at least?
Yeah, before us.
Could you give us a sense of what it was like without electricity?
Well, I suppose we didn't know the difference then, but when we got it then, it was great, like. It was the old iron we had. You put the iron into the fire and heat it. This thing, and put it into the iron then, and iron with that. And it was all on open fire, like everything was cooked on the open fire. There was no such thing as electric kettles or nothing. The kettle and all had to be boiled over the open fire. With no electricity at all. There was no electricity going into the house at all.
What about washing yourself and showering? You know, there was no shower obviously.
No, we used to have a big bath.
Yeah.
Fill up the bath with boiling water or hot water and wash yourself in the room, and that was it, empty out the bath. We'd no running water, you see, or nothing at that time.
Okay.
Then we got the running water, but we still hadn't hot water, you see. We had no bathrooms or anything at that stage, 2 years after we got bathrooms in.
And where did you go to the toilet then? It was an outhouse, was it?
An outhouse, yeah.
Yeah. Would you describe that to us, what that entailed, the outhouse was?
We used to only have a bucket and like empty the bucket after, and there was a grove at the side of empty off down there, like. And but then we got a toilet outside later years. So that was fine, like then when we got the water at the gate, we got the toilet down at the back, out at the back of us. So we had that then until we got in the bathrooms.
What kind of clothes did you wear?
We didn't have uniform going to school at that time. We could wear what we like. There was no uniform. So we could just wear anything, like mostly dresses and skirts and that kind of thing. There was no such thing as pantses even then. Girls wouldn't be seeing the pants at that time.
Did you wear different kinds of clothes at different times?
Oh yeah, we used to have our Sunday clothes. They couldn't be worn only for Sunday. Shoes for Sunday, and we used to have white hoppers at one time in the summer. They'd have to be whitened on Saturday night for Sunday morning.
Did you go to Mass every Sunday?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that had to be done every Sunday.
Yeah. And you mentioned earlier there was a last Mass.
Yeah, there used to be one at 12.
12. What Mass did you go to?
I used to always go to first Mass. I remember the old people out the road that time, they all wore shawls, black shawls. There was no coats, all the old people would wear shawls. And they'd be all walking in the dark in the morning into Mass. From way up the road, there's been 2 miles. There was 3 or 4 women coming in with the shawls in early Sunday morning Mass. They'd all meet one another on the road and off into Mass.
What time was the first Mass?
This will be going in about 6 o'clock, I'd say.
Okay.
I suppose Masses have 7 or 8 o'clock.
Yeah. And was there any reasoning, what was the rationale for wearing the black shawls?
I don't know, they always wore black shawls.
Yeah.
I remember my grandmother having one now. And because later years then my mother and father went to England and I stayed with my grandmother. And she used to have the black shawl going in. And they used to have boots and black shawls. And they'd be going off early, and then they go to town maybe once a week, every Saturday. That was it for the week. Then they bring home enough for the week. We did get the big pots of jam that time, the big pot of marmalade and jam together like. They do us then for the week, and then they'd be off again the following week for flour and wholemeal and all that kind of thing, for bacon and that.
You mentioned that your mum and dad went to England.
Yeah.
Was that when you were quite young?
I was very young, yeah, but they went to England.
Yeah. Did they was it for work or?
First of all, they separated. My mother went away to England on her own and left me with my grandmother. And then my father stayed around, and then he went to England eventually after that. Mm-hmm. So I was there then with my grandmother and an uncle.
How did you find that?
I was fine. I was quite happy with my grandmother, because she was always around anyway, so I was quite happy with her.
Would it have been unusual for
Oh, it was unusual at that time, yeah. There was no break-up at that time.
Yeah, yeah.
But you see, that time when a woman became pregnant, the priest got involved and the nuns a lot, and there was no such thing as having your baby, and rearing it. You'd have to get married, and that was it, Mm-hmm. And a lot of people then split up after that, because they weren't ready for marriage, I suppose, and got married. Mm-hmm. Married.
Were your parents young when they got?
They were quite young, yeah.
Yeah.
Where in Cashel were your favourite places to go and why?
We used to go up to the Rock of the Sunday. That was a treat for us to go up to the Rock of the Sunday, and we used to go to the cinema. We'd be left to the cinema when we were younger once a week. Every Monday night we'd be out to the cinema. But there was an old man down the road and he used to come with us. So he used to look after us. We'd be left going with him.
What were your favourite films?
I remember one time stuck in my mind, Sea Hound. Now what's it about now? That's the like cowboys now. Gene Autry and Roy Rogers and all them.
And where was the cinema?
Up in Ladies Well, there's it's up there now. That's that place in Ladies Well. There's not a chipper, pizza place, no? Do you know you go up in Ladies Well, across from Hannigan's, we'll say?
Morelli's.
It's not Morelli's, no.
Yeah.
Is it?
Chipper, up above.
Up in Ladies Well Street.
Yes.
Yeah, that's where the cinema was.
How did you get around?
On a bicycle. We're lucky to have a bicycle.
When was the first time you went to the sea?
To the cinema?
No, to the seaside.
Or to the seaside. Oh, I used to go from the school every now and again. But when I started going with my parents and that, I was a good 10 or 11 maybe. Because they weren't going them places that time.
Did Mum and Dad come back afterwards then to?
No.
Did you visit at any stage? Did you go over to?
No, they came visiting back, but they didn't come back to stay anymore.
Okay.
They both did now.
How did you find out about things that were happening in Ireland and the world when you were young?
The radio, I suppose, because there was no televisions then, and the papers, I suppose. Because we had no television. It was years when we had. There was only one television on our own on the road first when they got televisions. There was a neighbour of ours had a television, and we used to go there to watch it. Then we got our own television, but there was no televisions around that time.
Black and white.
Black and white.
Did any national or world events have an impact on your family's lives?
Grand National nowadays, to watch the Grand National a lot now.
Did everybody gather around?
Oh yeah, around the television, yeah.
And was there huge numbers in the race then as there is now?
There is, yeah, because I remember my grandmother one time, she won a sweepstake, and this horse was Bronze Cloud was running, and it won. They got some money out of that.
Can you remember any traditions or costumes in the olden days that Cashel had since died out?
Customs.
Customs.
Traditions or customs that used to go on in the Cashel area.
Yeah.
Was there a fair?
Oh, there were the fair days used to be in Cashel, yeah. They used to have them on the street. The shops would be kind of railed off. They'd be railing along, and the cattle, the sheep and the cattle and all that would be on the road. And the roads used to be filthy when we'd be going up and down to school from the cattle. They'd be there since early morning, like, and there at the evening. And then there used to be turkey markets there. Every year before Christmas, we used to have turkeys at home. We used to be bringing them in to sell them there. And that used to be shopping day then for the country people. They get the money for the turkeys then. They go shopping for the Christmas. But the fair days was a big thing in Cashel at that time, like.
This is a big question, but how do you think Cashel has changed over the years?
Well, I suppose it's changed for the better anyway, like. There's more going on than now, like, and there's more jobs and that created now, and more shops and that. That time there wasn't very many shops at all, only small little ones. When we go to school now, we used to buy our sweets up where the chipper is now in Fire Street, Crafts in the Chapel. There was a small little shop there, Mayors owned it. And we used to go in there for our penny sweets and all that. And we go to school.
They were two sisters, were they? Was it no?
No, there was a husband and wife.
Yeah.
And down then where Halls is, there was another small shop down there then. And on our way down then, when we go out to Golden Road, just down along there, down by Pat Fitzgerald's house, down that way, down, we'll say the Camas Road kind of, there was a small shop there, Janie Noonan we used to call them. She used to have all these penny sweets and all that kind of thing, like.
Oh, was it the two sisters that were in the cinema shop? Was
They
it?
were in the cinema, yeah, Peggy and Josie Mayer.
Yeah, I remember hearing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
This video will be made available for future generations to see what Cashel was like for a child and young adult during the 1940s, 1950s and beyond. Do you have any final words for the people who will be watching this recording?
Well, Cashel have changed a lot, of course, since then. You know, there's different things going on there now, and that time there was no drugs in the town, or there wasn't as much drinking done at the time and all that, like. We used to go to a dance and there was no such thing as drink, like, or anything like that.
do you think so? You do think that Cashel has changed for the better in some ways, but in other ways maybe.
It have changed for the better in some ways, and I think it changed for the worse too. There's an awful lot of drugs this is around the town now, like, and different things, like, you know, when I was going dancing years ago now, or coming in from the country into town, it was a much quieter town altogether, like, you know, and everybody seemed to know everybody and look out for one another. But now there's so much happening in the town now, like with drugs and fighting and all that kind of thing.
See, people, some of the people we interviewed said people weren't nicer, and then others said they were much nicer. What would you think?
I'd say the people are nice enough now, but I mean, going back years ago, people were friendlier, I think. You know, people didn't know people better coming in and out of the town, like, but now people are too busy going their own way, they don't bother. But
Yeah.
we used to come in from the country now, like, and we taught them all right. We used to like the dances and all that. My husband is dead nearly 21 years now.
Okay, wow. And you have grandchildren now?
I have one here now going up to community school in September, Lauren O'Brien, she's in 6th class.
Okay.
And I have a grandson, Alan. He's in the
yes.
community school already.
Yes, yeah.
And I have 2 more grandchildren, they're 21 and 22. My son down where I'm living, he have 2 by the girl, Lauren and Ella. And then my daughter, her husband died. Her husband died 2 years after my husband.
Okay.
So she buried her father and her husband in 2 years of one another.
So you've seen it all.
Yes, in
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.